Hey parents, welcome to another episode of Parenting with You. This week we're going to be talking about how to get our children to open their hearts. Steph, do you know those movies like The Goonies or National Treasure?
Yeah, Goonies is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So I love those kind of movies. They're talking about a big treasure hunt, and they're on a search for something, and there's always other people trying to get in the way. And did you know that as a parent we're also chasing after something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Well, some people might be saying, "What are you talking about, Matt?" But I think we as parents are always chasing after our children's hearts. So there are three things that I think we should touch on today that we can cover. But it's a hard thing to try to capture or open up our kids' hearts or get them to open up to us, especially as teenagers. I'm working on that now. So we'll go over those three things now.
Yeah, so inside our heart rests three things, and the first one is your identity or your child's identity. In 1 John chapter 1, verse 12, it says, "But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God." God calls us his own. He adopts us into his family. We are a child of the one true King. And yet it's so easy as students and even for kids to get distracted from that truth from time to time, to begin to place their identity in how they feel, or to begin to place their identity in their successes or even their failures, or begin to place their identity in what they're good at, maybe their athletics.
Yeah. So the second thing is passion. So Psalms 37:4 reminds us to delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give your desires of your heart. So we need to find out, what are our kids' and students' desires? What are they passionate about? Can we use those passions for the glory of God? I mean, those are great things we need to find out about our kids.
Absolutely. And the third thing that we'll see inside our students' heart is their purpose and what our purpose is. And if you've been around me long enough, or if you're going to be around me long enough, you'll hear me say the phrase that we exist to glorify God and to make Jesus known. And another author kind of said it in a similar way, that we exist to give God glory and enjoy him forever. And I think that really boils down to what our purpose is as we go and make disciples of all nations. And how do we relay that truth to our kids and students?
Right. So imagine a lock on your child's heart that says, "Trust me." So here's a little visual. So the key is to unlock it to a healthy relationship, and that takes time and trust to build a mutual trust, and sometimes it takes a long journey to do that. I mean, obviously you start that when they're little kids. So to pursue that, it's going to take a lot of hard work.
Yeah, for sure. But this week, I want us to just take a baby step in that direction. I want us to focus on how we can grow our relationship with our children. There's so many aspects to a healthy relationship, from building trust to having communication to having shared values and more. You might see this play out in the way you relate to your spouse as well. But I encourage you to find one thing this month that you can lean into that's going to strengthen your relationship with your children.
So Matt and I came up with a few questions that you can ask yourself to help identify where you need to work on your relationship and where there's some work we need to do. So here's one question. Are there places where I've broken trust with them? Are there places where they've broken trust with me? So trust is super important in our relationships with our children and our teens, and maybe think through that, where maybe that happened, and maybe re-look at that and see how you can fix that brokenness of trust. Have you spent time connecting together, either shoulder to shoulder or face to face? So you really have to be dedicated to finding some time carved out in your life to do that. Just the other day, Andy and Sam, my son Sam, had some extra, like maybe 30 minutes to go ride bikes together. Sam loves to ride his bike, so Andy hopped on his bike and they went for a good bike ride. Have you taken time to share something and enjoy something together? Shared passions so you can grow your relationship. Find out what your child loves to do and go do it with them. Are we communicating together? Have we gotten to a place where we yell at each other a lot? Sometimes that's a big deal with teenagers. It's hard to have a conversation with them sometimes. But, maybe revisit those things and try to figure out, we just need to talk to each other calmly and work through some our trust issues maybe. So
Yeah, and we know that you love your children. We know that. We don't have to know you to know you of them, because God wires us that way, to have a deep love for our kids that's unlike anything else that we experience other than our love for God himself. And so I want to just challenge you this week in finding one area that you can make that relationship stronger with your child. Because just because you love them doesn't guarantee that you have a healthy relationship with them.
Yeah.
And so we just want to walk alongside you in this process and encourage you on one simple way that you can take this month to strengthen your relationship with your kids and unlock the key to their heart.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.